Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. I'm joined by lots of bobbleheads in the background, some books, some strange objects, Elvira, all sorts of things. So, this must be another Dirk Manning adventure. Glad to be talking with Dirk Manning once more. And on this episode, we are also joined by a collaborator, a writer you might know for Bird Box and Mallory, and a range of other books, Incidents Around the House being one of those, Unbury Carol as
Yeah.
well. So some 40 books, I believe, something like that, and that is author Josh Malerman. So many thanks to you both for joining.
Thank you for having us. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that Josh's coffin didn't get the shout out. I mean,
Yeah.
my
No, I was
just
trying to like lean.
Oh yeah,
No, but you know what's really interesting is this coffin also has that Elvira book in it.
yeah,
So
right.
nice.
we both Elvira's biography is autobiography is represented on both of our screens right now.
That you know what? Maybe that'll be the next cosmic connection as we go.
Hey man, I'm in.
So not a Melville reference. You didn't make that and then discover that it was like your life and resurrection and nothing like that.
Moby Dick is on this shelf too.
But
That
I've got a lot of graphic novels. You know, I had a copy of Moby Dick. I don't know if I still do.
is my
That's got
favorite
to be
book.
graphic novel.
I feel weird saying my favorite book, but that is my favorite book of all time.
No, dude. Have you ever seen the
Nice.
old classics illustrated like pocket version?
Oh yeah.
Dude, so good
Mhm.
too. That was yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
sorry. We'll geek
Well,
out on
all
we'll
the
geek out on books all
foreboding.
day. You get us going and we won't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, glad to be talking about a book that has lots of letters in the title, RSVP, ESP. I love this. It makes me think I'm calling like a radio call sign or something, but it's not. It's not. It is an interesting exploration of duality, as I understand it, character, identity in graphic novel form. No less. How did this collaboration, how did the two of you connect other than you knew you had Elvira and Moby Dick in common?
I don't even know if we knew that at the time. I mean, it's like I guess the shortest version is a mutual friend at the time inter foisted Bird Box in my hand. I was with him and he's like, Dirk, you gotta read this book. He's like, I got tons of copies of this book. I'm giving it to everybody. You gotta read this. And he told me the premise, which was like a monster that you saw it, you go crazy, or he kind of described like a like a zombie plague passed on by eyesight. I'm like, wow, okay. And
Hmm.
usually people give me books, it takes like months and months to get to them. Like just the premise alone, the way he sold me on it, I read it right away. And I immediately got back to him and I said, and you know this guy that wrote this? He's like, yeah, yeah. I said, can I meet him? Just because like I wanted to tell Josh that how amazing that book was and just blew me away. And it was so fresh. And it's so hard to find fresh things these days. We were talking about the title a
Hmm.
minute ago, and Josh and I've had that conversation before we landed on this title. It's different, it's fresh. And when I read Bird Box, it just
Hmm.
was so fresh and so cool. And we met, and then eventually I just kind of approached Josh and was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing anything in the world of graphic novels? And I just expected him to craft something, and he kind of volleyed it back at me and said, yeah, only if you do it with me. And here we are.
Nice. Here we are. Josh, as I mentioned, you have many, many titles, novellas, novels. What was it like moving from prose to the world of comics? Or is that a move that you have made before somewhere?
Great question. No, I've never been in this world before. And so Dirk wrote the graphic novel, and it's based on a story of mine.
Hmm.
And I have some experience with like screenwriting and that sort of thing. And when he sent me the script originally, I was anticipating that sort of construct, that energy sort of that it would have. No, it was a totally different game. One that I related to a lot more, to be honest with you, in terms of the rhythm, the beat, the panel to panel, and the page to page versus, the movie script. And
Hmm.
so from the word go. I, I didn't even realize what I was entering because I've never been a part of something like this. From Dirk's script to Joshua Ross's drawings to Colin's coloring to Dave Lenz's lettering. Like literally each step of the way has been, I've never seen this before. And to be on this side of it, it's freaking awesome. I mean, like
Yeah.
I've written some 40 books and I serialized one. One's like 1,100 pages, another's 100 pages. I've tried all these different ways of releasing them and novella, never this. And so it just based on that alone, it's like, wow, this is out here. This has been out here this whole time. And now, of course, I just want to do another one with him.
One of us, graphic
Yeah.
novel.
That's right. Please do. Please do. May it continue. Absolutely. Dirk, same question. Going to that, like breaking the story down, putting it into comics. What was that like on your end of the process?
It's nerve-wracking. I've worked with different creators and like different levels, like working with someone like Tony Schiavone or Arn Anderson, like bringing like their life story to life through interviews. And then also taking, when working with Ron Chaney from Chaney Entertainment to bring London After Midnight to life, which I was working off of an actual screenplay, knowing that here's this film in London After Midnight that's legendary. People have
Mhm.
tattoos of the man in the beaver hat, but they've never seen the film because no one's seen the film that's really alive to speak of. Those were all unique experiences in of themselves, as opposed to then working with someone like Josh, like, here's an unpublished story, right? And I think you can testify to this, Josh. When I read it, I said, yeah, this is the perfect one because the reason I think that this didn't move completely forward was because it's so visual. It's a visual story. And that's not to say that what Josh gave me wasn't good. It was obviously great. I mean, we moved forward adapting a graphic novel. But when I read this, I said, yeah, I think for this to reach its maximum potential, it's a visual story. And I don't even know if it's visually necessarily first as like a movie, but like as a graphic novel. And when I read the story, all I could picture was Joshua Ross drawing this. That was it, right? That was the only way this was going to work because the ideas that Josh Malerman had, as opposed to Joshua, but that Josh had, these scenes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Joshua Ross all over it. He's the only one that can make this work. So it was really cool, and Josh has been exceptionally gracious when liberties, I guess, that were kind of taken with it in order to drive it forward the best way in this medium, but still also
Mhm.
honoring the scope of the story he was telling.
Gracious, he made it better.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I would have been out of my mind to deny it and just be like, no. Like, no, man, Dirk's script, like right away, I was like, oh shoot, man. Like he found like he pulled the spine out of the story. And here it is. And I mean, it got to the point where Dirk and I were talking color palette for Colin John. Like we're like and because I say that because he brought up Joshua Ross and how I didn't know Joshua's drawings before, but now I totally understand why Dirk was thinking of him. And then, and again, each step of the way, that kind of thing. Yeah, Dirk, I would be, if I was tasked with adapting someone's story, that would be nerve-wracking. I would be like, oh man, I
Yeah,
hope I hope I pull this off or whatever. Yeah, but when
yeah, because this is your concept, right? And to move it in this direction, and especially, and again, I'm not trying to be cute about it, but someone who's writing, I enjoy as a fan as well, right?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
there's that whole another level. It's like I don't want to be the one to like have one of Malamud's books out there that's like, right? You're like, yeah, the graphic novel was okay. It's like, no, I mean, this is, you're a guy that's had, your movies have become like viral sensations in society and stuff like that. So there's this whole other weight to it when here's a new Josh Malerman idea coming out that to really make this stand up to anything else that you've done was really, really important to me. And so I mean, the
Well,
readers will
you
be the judge,
crushed it,
obviously.
man. You crushed it, man. I absolutely, yeah. It's been a thrilling, as you can hear and what we're saying to each other, it's been a thrilling process.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, just go ahead and hug each other. Just hug.
I
Just
know,
hug.
I know, I
Yeah.
know.
Mutual admiration society over here, right? But
That's right.
but it,
That's
it
right.
was it was interesting too, knowing that Josh was fairly new to comics. And I'm like, I was kind of like slowly greasing the wheel, like, here's something I did with Nightmare World. What? And then I'm like, okay, here's Jinji Ito. Like these little things, like just sliding them across the desk to him in a way, and um,
Hmm.
just to but then it's like, did you did you see Left Turns, Josh, before you saw by Joshua Ross before you saw? I'm trying to remember the timeline before you saw some of the art from RSVP ESP.
Man,
I don't.
don't remember right now.
I,
I think
I
I don't remember.
it was. I know it was close, but when
Yeah.
you look at like Left Turns, which Joshua Ross, that's his first graphic novel he wrote and drew himself. It's very slice of life, right?
Yep.
It's very slice of life. It's kind of, his version like Blankets by Craig Thompson in a way, like it's for like a correlation. Then you
Yeah.
have RSVP ESP when we have kids like literally unraveling themselves in front of you and all these other things we haven't even gotten into yet. So it was like even getting to the point where I could start showing Josh the pages that Joshua was doing and like, this is why it's going to be this way. This is why it'll work. And watching Josh's reactions, I think, was one of my
You know
my
what?
favorite things.
That made me think of another thing that we haven't discussed, you and I really yet, Dirk, is, because my manager and I have a production company. And so we have regular meetings with studios and with screenwriters and this kind of thing. And we have projects that get set up places. And then there's a screenwriter
Right.
and oftentimes the screenwriter, one screenwriter will turn around in a couple of weeks, you have a script, another one will take like 4 months, right? I had no concept of how like efficient or not like Dirk and this crew would be. None. I had no
Mm.
idea entering this. Could have taken 3 years and I would have just thought this idea, but I guess that's how it goes, right? But no, it was all every step of the way has been I don't want to say assembly line because that like diminishes the artistry, but it's like it's so like efficient and so like we're working on this, we're doing it now, we're getting it done, we're moving on to the next step, and there's been like a momentum the entire way since our discussion in a gymnasium, by the way, about doing this to right now. There has been a momentum, and I credit Dirk with that. With he's if this is a band, he's an extraordinary band leader.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
kudos though too to Joshua Ross, to Colin Johnson, to
Yeah,
Dave Lenz,
yeah.
and even Drina Joe when she goes into our final edit process. They're a well-oiled machine, and they deserve all the work. I've worked with plenty of artists who do not move at the rate of consistency that they do. I'm not going to say
Hmm.
fast. I'm going to say consistent.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's I think the key on this is everyone's in sync. Everyone's excited about the project. Everyone knows the value of this project. So yeah, kudos to the whole team. I mean,
Well,
we can't have like I would love to have like all of us on here chatting about it, but yeah, big props to them too for making this work.
I'm a big fan, Jason, of like momentum. In terms
Hmm.
of I understand it could take 10 years to write a novel, and it could be the greatest novel ever. But I do believe in sort of like waves of like, hey Josh, you're riding this wave, this rough draft, work every day till it's done. Like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Let's not pause halfway and then the wave breaks and then like, oh man, and then like 6 months later, you're like, oh man, I still haven't done it. I got to get back into writing shape, right? So
Right.
I'm a huge fan of momentum in general, and this project just absolutely surfed its way through all the stages.
Now that speaks well to the professionalism and just the idea that you're not waiting on pages and waiting on things to get turned in. So it sounds like a wonderful team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joshua
Yeah.
Ross is a beast. Another fun fact with this is he kind of came out of, I don't want to say came out of retirement, but we had been on one of the, that isn't even hard to say we were on a break, but he'd really been focusing on both his tattoo studio, but then also like his own graphic novel Left Turns. So I get hold of Josh after I read Josh's story. I get a hold of Joshua and I'm like, I can't tell you any details yet, but
Mhm.
there's this huge name in horror who has this amazing story that we can turn into this amazing graphic novel, and you're the only one who can make this work.
Mhm.
And to Joshua's credit, he's like, all right. Let's go. I'm like, thank you. I'll get back to you soon. Boom.
Yeah.
And then I immediately get back to like Josh. I'm like, okay, I think we can make this work, you know. And then Colin Johnson with his color palette, he's such a chameleon. When you look at what he's done in like Love Stories versus Homestead, I mean, the unique vibe he's given this story, which was really what we wanted it to be like timeless, but also Twilight Zone-y, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to, we just
Derek, I remembered the first time I saw Joshua Ross's art was in your stories.
okay, and Nightmare World and stuff,
Yep,
right?
in Nightmare World. That's the first. I just remembered.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
first time I saw him because I remember when you brought him up, I was like, oh, okay, great. You know, because I had seen like a few in that the hardcover that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. So yeah, he again, and that was the first stuff Joshua and I ever did together for years. You know, he's the most prolific artist in that. So yeah, it's but again, I just want to give them their flowers because
Yeah.
they
100%.
this is a team effort top to bottom.
Yeah. Well, without any spoilers, I always like to ask, or often like to ask, were there times where you received pages coloring and it just blew you away? Any examples of that that you'd like to mention?
I
You're
know
like
what
every
I bet you I
time.
know what you're gonna say, Josh. Take it away.
I mean, I have a few. One of my favorite ones for, do the listeners know what it's about yet? Is that like written
Oh
somewhere?
yeah, yeah, just
I'll explain it real fast.
yeah. Go ahead, bro.
There's a scientist, Dr. Massey, who is hell-bent on proving ESP. And so he has like scoured the internet and other places, journals and whatever, just looking for signs of people that might have it, right? And he discovers what he believes to be ESP potential in these two younger boys. And he invites them to spend 2 weeks at his home and laboratory to study them for 2 weeks, but he has no idea that the power of the two minds that he's invited into his home. So
Hmm.
he's wondering, like, I wonder how many they're going to guess right of these Zender cards, you know.
Right.
Meanwhile, they're capable of literally controlling his entire reality. And one of the boys is thrilled to be there and to have his abilities encouraged, and the other one is horrified and angry even about the possibility of being a lab rat, right? So the two boys, it becomes a tug of war for the doctor's reality, you know. One is trying to make it insane for him, the other is trying to save him, you know, from the other's, you know, whatever. It's a psychic like battle over this doctor who has no idea the power of these kids. So some of my favorite images, some of my favorite pages encapsulate that the most. The first shot of the doctor's home and lab, the first shot of the family arriving, the two families, sorry, arriving at the same time, by the way, which was a good sign of the doctor. Wow, that they ended up arriving at the same exact time. You know, like, you know, and
Right.
like, and like there are many, I mean, there are scenes later on that I don't want to spoil where the book, just put it this way, the book does an incredible job of ramping up their abilities, showing us what they can do. So
Hmm.
if at the beginning there's something as simple as like Massey's door is locked when it shouldn't be, by the end it's completely holy cow, these kids can do anything. But and that means Joshua Ross and Dirk and everyone involved were allowed to do anything too. And so some later panels would be my favorite, but I don't want to like say what those are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Joshua. I mean, he can do, and this is what I was getting earlier with left turns. He can do such a slice, like a multi-hundred page slice of life story and do it one way. But then when you need, okay, here's these two boys that can like bend reality. He does that too. There's a preview page we've shown a couple times when this kid turned like unravels himself like spaghetti, like
Hmm.
so, and it's just like I get that any artist could probably make this work, but Joshua grounds it in such a reality that when it breaks, when it twists, or this won't give anything away, I don't think. The two visitors. Remember what part I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh, that's my favorite stuff. Right, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the scene, especially when I'm like, Joshua Ross can do this better than anybody. And when I even wrote in the script, like, okay, here's how I want this to happen. Oh my God, he's so good. But yeah, there's a lot. Like Josh, it starts small, but it gets big. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you know, I was just thinking that Joshua's art is an amazing sort of combination of like classic and modern.
Hmm.
You know, my mind like thinks that it's both at once or something. It's like this is a classic graphic novel or I guess comic look, and 100% at the same time, 100% brand new 2025. And
Yeah.
that's a cool balance for a musician to strike, for a writer to strike, and for an artist. So yeah, that's it, and that I think has something to do with what you're describing in terms of this fantastical moment that is grounded.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just it's Twilight Zone. He takes reality and he just twists it, twist it, twist it. And then eventually he just takes it and like taffy pulls it and ties it in knots and it works. And there was never a spot where I had to be, we can't do this. Because I know Joshua could pull it off and pull it off exceptionally well and honoring this great story that's told where this things just escalate and escalate and escalate and you know just get wild. They get wild. It has been hard not to share some of like the crazier panels, but
Right.
Yeah.
I want people to experience it in the book, which I know if we showed some of the stuff that's later in this book, I almost feel like we'd move more on the Kickstarter at rsvp-esp.com. But
Nicely done. Nicely done, sir.
thank you. But to me, I would rather people experience it for themselves. Like I hate it when you watch a trailer and like they show you like one of the like the major shots.
Yeah, no
Hmm.
doubt. And yeah, I know.
No,
But
no.
you're right. It is like a tricky thing, right? Because it's like you want to show them so bad, but you're like,
Yeah, I want to show them the fish page, right? Is
yeah,
there
yeah.
an example? Just like because it's incredible, but like no, the artistic integrity of it. Like you're gonna turn a page in the book. You'll have the book, and then you'll turn to like this one page and be like, "Whoa!" And that's gonna
Yeah.
be that's gonna be worth it. That's gonna be worth it.
And the budget is the same in a comic, so that's kind of the nice thing too. Moving from film and television to comics, it can be a fish page or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
No
That
spoil.
has crossed my mind, you know. And another thing, the graphic novel, it's like it's filmic. It's
Hmm.
like a legitimate experience. Like I feel the same at the end of it as if I had just experienced like a great movie. You know, like it has that it like meaning it's that wide that it's not like a short story experience where it's like a puff of something you're like, ooh, no, it's like the full immersion experience.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because this is a 120-page graphic novel.
Yeah, it's
100.
a 120-page graphic novel. Yeah.
It's gonna take you on a wild ride, and coming up as a guy that wrote short stories, I cut my teeth doing a series of 52 8-page stories. Then with Nightmare World and Tales of Mystery, I launched the series with 13 8-page stories, like chapters in a way. And so I'm gonna give myself just one flower. I know how to pack a lot into a little, right?
Hmm.
Then though, when you can let it go for 120 pages, it's like, man,
Yeah.
I'll get ready, get ready. And then you bring in the artist to work with longer than almost anyone else, and then a great story to work from with Josh. And then, man, let's go.
I'm gonna take it back to the coffin to add a question here because I'm getting like whiffs of Robert Louis Stevenson, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm getting a little bit of that like Hawthorne kind of thing. I can't remember. Dr. Heidegger, I think was the story. Are there particularly like literary inspirations that you would point to for the story?
Well, it's funny. Everything you just brought up is well,
Oh, it's over there.
the Hawthorne's on that shelf. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is behind me.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, I actually feel like that you're bringing up, and even Moby Dick. Not, obviously, this is not a seafaring tale, but it's like that. I'm a huge fan, and as Dirk said, that Twilight Zone. It's almost like I don't want to say it's like a gentlemanly, but there's like sort of a classic feel to the conceit. There's
Hmm.
a classic feel to the setup, that kind of thing, where I like so many different things, but I find when I'm writing myself, when I'm sitting down to write a novel, that I do seem to approach it from that. like Jekyll and Hyde like voice versus like a modern horror novel. And I love them
Hmm.
both, but that does feel more like home to me. And I think of like Poe, I think of like other psychic stories like The Dead Zone, which is, oh my gosh, what a brilliant depiction of it, of psychic powers that one is. And Dirk and I were asked a question, you know, something about like the draw of like, in this case, y- young protagonist or young main characters that have the ability. What's the draw with that? And I'm sitting there really like it's got me like thinking all day about it. And I feel like it has something to do with, you know, there's almost a sense with either kids or animals, dogs, whatever, that they know the truth about us, right? Like if a kid
Hmm.
doesn't like you, right? It's like, they see the true me, right? Or like a dog, right? So then when we and no, we kind of believe that, but none of us actually believe that. But when you then have a story with a kid that is able to read your mind or see the true you or control your reality, there is kind of that unnerving, like, oh, we were right. They knew all along. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like,
And there's
what am I?
not that there's not
What,
that built-in social construct where they're going to be gentle,
right, right.
right? Their
Yes,
their
yes,
brains not developed in that fashion, which is I think what makes this story so compelling, because it's not like we're talking about immoral characters. They're not immoral, but they have childlike morals, you
right.
know.
Well, even Matthew in Matthew's the sort of the angrier of the two.
Hmm.
Like even what he's doing is like completely understandable in a way.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like even though it's like horrifying, it's like I freaking get it, my man. Like I get it, you know?
yeah. And he
Yeah.
one of the things that I really wanted to make sure that happened through the story is that we made sure these kids were written like kids, but also putting yourself in the position of these are kids that know they can reshape reality, right?
Mm.
And now not only that, they're meeting another one.
Right,
There's
right,
two of them.
right.
And what does that look like? And how does that, I don't know if I ever really talked about this publicly. Like one of my secret rules of writing is, and my shorthand for it is aliens need to be alien,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
If I'm talking about an alien like out of a UFO, they shouldn't think like us. They shouldn't operate like us. They should have a whole different construct of how they view things. And I took that aliens need to be alien in this idea. And again, I mean, I'm just packing meat on the skeleton that Josh created, but these are kids that grew up knowing they can shape reality.
Yep.
What does that do? How do they view the world? How do they view everyone around them? How much does Matthew want to protect it? How much does Elliot want to get it out there in a way that's productive? And then what happens when you get that oil and water together, right? Um,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Well,
it was.
Dirk, it's like some of my favorite moments of the book are when they're having those moments like that one like what can you do?
Mhm.
And the other one's like, you know what I can do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like, don't play with
it's
me,
like,
man. You
yeah,
know,
it's
I
like,
know that you know.
yeah. Like those moments are like game recognizes game or something,
Yeah, but then it's like,
that
but
kind of
do
thing.
you know how much I can do?
Right,
Right?
or do
Yeah,
right, but do you?
yeah. Game recognize, yeah. Real recognize real. Everyone, it's the old. Everyone thinks they're a gangster till they meet a real gangster, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
or even in martial arts, there's a thing where a trained martial artist can tell you if there's another trained martial artist in the room.
Oh,
We
that's
just
amazing.
we just
Hmm.
know because there's little things. Or it's like if you ever like take like cops can tell you if there's like a gangster in the room or a gangbanger in the room, right? There's like once you know the secret language, you can't unsee it. And that's one of the things that with this was so fascinating is and Josh hit the nail on the head. Like like I know that you know what I can do, but do you really? Let's find out. Let's play a little game here real quick. Right? It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And they don't have that social, they're not married to a social construct an adult is because their brains are not developed that way yet. So we tied adolescent psychology into this as well.
Love it. Love it. Very psychological.
Very
And
parapsychological. Is that the term, Josh? Or you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
parapsychological horror.
parapsychological.
I'm gonna echo the title here again, RSVP ESP, because there's like that sort of like cultural, I mean, people know to be or not to be. The Kurt Vonnegut story. There's something very like classic feeling about that. There is something very memorable, and it
Mhm.
stands out from any other combination of words, sort of like the Nosferatu story.
I, I totally agree, man. You talk about the titles, like straight up the title.
Hmm.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
I totally agree. I think that Dirk uttered it first. I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering right. We were
Yeah,
having
because it
a
was
together with Drina, and Dirk uttered, and it was just like, and it kind of just seemed like something to say or something. And then I was like, hold on, that's good. Like because
Hmm.
on the constant search for fresh and the constant search for something new and like and not just to like stand out in a marketing way, just like in an artistic way. Like I have never seen a title like that before, like RSVP ESP. And if I was in, I'm like, okay, the fact that they decided to call it this, like that's what is this?
this is a
And it's like
bold move.
it's like this is wild. What is that? And like that's fun and I also feel like that title for some reason I don't know why makes more sense as a graphic novel than let's say a novel. I don't know why, but it
Hmm.
does. And so all of a sudden we're eating pizza. Dirk uttered these 7 letters and then all of a sudden the two of us are now convincing Drina like no, this is really good. This is really good.
Yeah, yeah,
And
all
then
right. Yeah,
she
because
got on board with us. Yeah.
we all we all had the same reaction when I said it. And I would equate the reaction to when you accidentally eat baker's chocolate instead of semi-sweet. It's
Hmm.
like it's not what I thought. But to Josh's credit, you said something that made me realize we had to go full tilt on this. And you kind of said it now too. You said there's never been another title like this.
Yeah.
And then you said, how hard is it to come up with a truly wholly original title?
Right.
Because I did it kind of like a joke. Because we literally were all sitting there, me, Josh, and Gina Joe were sitting there having pizza, and just because it was again, it was after a convention, so your brain's just putty for 3 days being on and stuff like that. We go, we meet Josh, we have pizza, and we're just brainstorming because the original title to the story was too similar to another book that Josh had done, and we're like, okay, like the invitation, like an invitation, da, 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 and then this kind of comes out, like we got to talk about the psychic aspect of it. And then when I blurted this out, we all kind of froze, and I think it was even like, I don't like it, but I love it. I think it was you said you go, I don't like it, but I love it, or
Yeah.
or I don't love it, but I like it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you made the comment about how there's nothing else like this, and then it just there it couldn't be anything else at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm just picturing like a table of contents with various stories, any collection. And as I'm scrolling through, that's going to be one that stands out to me. I'm probably going to go to that one just to be like, hey, this is interesting. Let's check this
Yeah,
out.
what the hell is this? So you can say.
Uh-huh. Well, we've talked comics, we've talked about the affordances of comics. It sounds like maybe there's a continued collaboration in the future, I'm hoping as well, more story interactions.
I hope so too. I would love to do another one ASAP.
Uh,
That's the title of it.
yeah,
No.
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I love
Well,
it.
I want to do another one ASAP. No,
Spoiler
I
alert,
I have
everyone.
I never like to put anyone on the spot, but I have admittedly, and I'll admit this right to your virtual face, Josh. I have already said, this other story you told me about could work really well.
Man, it really could,
It
man.
really would.
Like it's so ideal for this.
And it is. And here's the thing, as gently as I'm pushing, you don't see Joshua Ross like beating down the door. He's like,
Yeah.
we got it. This has been so great. We got to do another one. We got to do another one. I'm like, hold on. Just one thing.
I am
But
in,
no,
man. I am 100% in. I absolutely. I have loved this, and I can't wait to freaking hold the thing. I can't wait to hold the book in my
Mhm.
hands and just, oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna put on the right kind of music for it. You know,
Yeah.
parapsychological horror music,
Right, right,
on
right.
the
Right?
ESP music, and just sink into that. We all know there is nothing like getting your book in the mail. Nothing like it.
Mhm.
It's the greatest
Hmm.
freaking feeling. This one is going to be something even a little extra. I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm holding this book. I'm so excited. Yeah.
And even it's even different getting the digital P like we'll get a final PDF and we're gonna comb over it and we're gonna look over it one last time and
Yeah.
make sure there's no typo, whatever, all this other stuff. So then it's like, okay, I know it. But then like when you get it,
Yeah. There's nothing like it.
and you get like the hardcover edition, like the fancy version, right? And it's like
Hmm.
it's just like the Gollum, like my precious. You're like,
Yeah,
That
oh
was
right.
good.
yeah, thank you. Like I got it in my
Um,
mouth.
but yeah, no, I remember when I got Bird Box, I think this is gonna sound wrong, but I think I slept with it. I think I think I think when Bird Box came, I think that I had it like next to me, that night, like this or
Mhm.
something,
Uh-huh.
And honest to God, I have felt that way with all of them. I think Instance from the House is book 13, I think, for me.
Published
Hmm.
And
book 13.
published, yeah, sorry, published 13th. And it's still then. It's like I
Mhm.
walk around town with it. My second book, I went to a post office and I'm sitting there holding it and I hear someone say, "Hey, I'm gonna tell everyone I saw you holding your own book." And I turn around and it was my bandmate.
That's great. But and here's the thing too. I'll be
Right.
really, really honest. Sometimes, and I find this especially when I am the sole writer on something, I put it up for a while, right? It's like I don't I gotta separate myself from it away. This one, because
Oh
it's like
yeah.
being in a band, I want to hear the record, right? I want to, just I can't wait just to sit down and just like you said,
Yeah.
just lock myself up and just get in a comfy spot and just read it, man. I'm so
Safer.
excited.
Yeah, safer. Absolutely. Where can people go and find out more about the two of you and this collaboration and support? I know there's a lenticular version. Did I say that right? Something like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that?
yeah, yeah. I can't believe it took me so long to realize I actually had this problem in arms like so people can check out the Kickstarter, go to Kickstarter and put in Manning, you can put in Malerman, you can put in RSVP colon, it'll come right up. On the Kickstarter, and I've never done this on a book before, we're offering, well, let me back up. I always offer a Kickstarter exclusive hardcover.
Hmm.
I've never offered a Kickstarter exclusive hardcover with a lenticular cover. So the lenticular cover is like these like moving images. Like see here, you can see like the actors, right?
Nice.
Like
So cool,
this,
yeah.
right? It just, shout out to Watchmen, one of the first graphic novels I read. So we're doing this
Mhm.
cover, that type of cover that's going to be exclusive to the Kickstarter hardcover exclusive. So if you want like the deluxe tricked out version of this book, you want a hardcover lenticular cover, this is the only way to get it. It's going to be completely collectible. What's gone, it's gone. So when the campaign's done, we're going to print that many, couple extras because Josh will want to sleep with one. I'll want to sleep with an extra one. Uh,
Under the pillow.
yeah, 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 yeah. On top of the pillow, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna live like
Yeah.
that, like tilted in the night.
Hmm.
So people go to Kickstarter, check out RSVP, SP. Um, that aside, my website, dirkmanning.com, that has my touring schedule, my bibliography, all that. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, all at Dirk Manning. Just look for the picture of the guy with the top hat and a scarf, and that's where I am located.
Mr.
And
Mellerman.
Well, I mean, just Josh Malerman on, well, God, I'm not on Twitter anymore. Thank the gods. But on Facebook, I do have my website, joshmalerman.com, which I need to put this on. Oh, I need to get this on there. The last thing I really did is there's a serialized novel on there. So just letting people know there's a full 300-page book for free to be read on there, just sitting there. No money, nothing. It's just sitting there. Um, but yeah, in terms of this project, it's the Kickstarter page has everything about the book and us though.
And you only get the hardcover till May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. We launched April Fool's Day. We end Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. And then people are going to come to us. I know, and it is going to happen. Like, oh, I missed it. Can I get the hardcover? We'll get you a real nice trade paperback. But the hardcover is Kickstarter exclusive. That's the social contract we have with everybody.
Nice, nice. Well, anything that we've missed that you want to make sure to include before we close out? Did we leave any stone unturned that you want to make sure is here?
No, I feel really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're really fun to talk with, and thank you for thinking
Absolutely.
of it.
Yeah.
I'm new to this world, and it's good to meet you, and it's good to meet, people of this world. So thanks for this.
And
Great to meet you as well.
yeah, and I appreciate having me on now several times. I appreciate you gently coaxing Malerman into saying he wants to do another graphic novel. The check is in the mail.
Yes.
No,
Thank you.
Positive peer
It's on the
pressure.
record
I'm in,
now.
Logan.
That's
I'm
right.
in.
That's right.
No, in all seriousness, thank you. I'm just really excited about this book, and I know these are crazy times right now for people, and asking people to pre-order a book that's not going to be out for a couple months, but you want the hardcover edition of this book. Get the T-shirt as well. The T-shirt's probably my favorite T-shirt we've done to date on a Kickstarter. The Have More Psychic Than You Think shirt. So yeah, just check it out, and thank you for having us on.
Anytime, anytime. The invitation is always open, and yeah, always glad to talk comics and horror and all of the things. And many thanks to you both.